strong legs and a long curved bill give curved-billed thrashers the perfect tools for hunting insects in the punishing deserts, canyons, and brushlands that are its home. That long bill also keeps long-legged insect prey at a safe distance and comes in handy for foraging and nesting among spiny plants, especially cacti. This species is so typical of the deserts of the American Southwest and northern Mexico that its whistled whit-weet call is often the first vocalization that visiting bird watchers learn. This species often comes to seeds, berries, insects, and water if offered, particularly on platform feeders or on the ground. Curved-billed thrashers can sometimes dominate smaller birds at feeding stations. Large yards might even host a nesting pair in native vegetation. The curved-billed thrasher that lives in the Sonoran Desert of Arizona and northwestern Mexico looks different than the form that lives in the Chihuahuan Desert of Texas and central Mexico, and they may be separate species. The Texas and eastern bird has a lighter breast, more contrasting spots, pale wing bars, and white tail corners. The more western form has a grayer breast with less obvious spots, inconspicuous wing bars, and smaller, more grayish tail corners. The oldest recorded curved-billed thrasher was at least 10 years, 9 months old when it was found in Arizona in 1946. It had been banded in the same state in 1936. Your best bet for finding a curved-billed thrasher is to listen for a whistle like someone hailing a taxi. On early desert mornings, look for the calling bird perched at the top of a small bush or cactus, surveying its environment. But be careful to see the bird before you check it off. Sometimes a northern mockingbird or European starling will perform a perfect imitation. During the heat of the day, curved-billed thrashers are harder to find as they rest in the shade of cactus, cholla, and other desert plants. There's no question that the curved-billed thrashers don't migrate, as the one in our yard stays there constantly, although others are found in a variety of habitats, including deserts, scrublands, and suburban areas. These birds are well adapted to live in arid regions and are able to conserve water by producing highly concentrated urine. Their kidneys reabsorb more water from the urine than other birds, which allows them to excrete excess salts and waste products while conserving as much water as possible. Curved-billed thrashers build their nests in a variety of habitats, including deserts, scrublands, and suburban areas. They typically build their nests in low shrubs, various cacti, or trees, usually 2 to 10 feet above the ground. Building the nest inside our cholla cactus was a smart move for our resident thrasher, since our daily visiting roadrunner spends a great deal of time circling the cactus waiting on the thrasher to come out, as he tries to avoid the thin, sharp spines that keep the birds protected. However, the circling has gone on for several years now, and the thrasher is still alive and well. The nest of a curved-billed thrasher is a bulky, cup-shaped structure made of twigs, leaves, grasses, and other plant materials. The inside of the nest is lined with softer materials such as feathers, hair, or plant fibers. Both the male and female participate in building the nest, and the female typically lays 2 to 5 eggs in the completed nest. The eggs are incubated by the female for about 12 to 14 days, after which the young hatch and are fed by both parents. Each year we see some smaller thrashers in the yard, but they leave the nest very quickly, usually after about 2 to 3 weeks. Because the curved-billed thrasher doesn't migrate, it often reuses its nest in subsequent breeding seasons, which is true for the ones in our backyard. I don't know if the thrasher that remains in our yard year-round is the female or the male, as they are typically about the same size, and I can't tell the difference. During breeding season, we often see 2 adult thrashers, one slightly smaller than the other, at the bird bath or bird feeder, although not at the same time, with my guess being that one is always guarding the nest. According to the research I have done on curved-billed thrashers, males and females have similar plumage, making it difficult to distinguish between them based on appearance alone. However, there are a few differences that might help you distinguish between male and female curve-billed thrashers. Male, curve-billed thrashers are known for their complex and varied songs, which they use to establish territory and attract a mate. The male's song is usually more elaborate and longer than the female's, although I am very hard of hearing, and I've never heard their songs well enough to differentiate. During the breeding season, male thrashers may be more active and territorial, defending their nests and territory from perceived threats. They will also engage in activities, fluffing their feathers or jumping up and down, intended to intimidate potential threats. In some bird species, males are slightly larger than females, although this is not always the case. In the case of the curve-billed thrasher, the males and females are very similar in size, so size is not a reliable indicator of gender. Curve-billed thrashers are generally considered to be non-aggressive birds, but that isn't the case during breeding season when they can become territorial, defending their nest and territory from any perceived threat. In some cases, thrashers may also aggressively attack other birds, such as house sparrows or European starlings, if they are perceived as a threat.